Good evening, students from composition, conversation, global business communication, and British and American culture. I'm going to make this as efficient as possible. This is an update for all of you. So there will be some things that apply to everyone, and specific things I will include in your own lectures, but some of these sort of ground rules and updates will apply to all of you. So I thought this was the best way to deliver the message. I hope all of you are watching the video lectures and keeping up to date on the cyber lectures, because that is the primary way to be evaluated. Normally in a conversation class, 20% of your grade is participation. It looks like this semester it's going to be higher than that. I'm going to have to issue some new evaluation criteria for everyone, which I will do. Individual classes are going to be different, but essentially the main thing is that you watch these video lectures and that you log in through the CNU portal, and that's what will determine whether you get a good grade or not. Okay. Now the flexibility in terms of what grades I give you, I'm hoping that they will just give me, allow me to use the absolute system rather than a relative system, and that the grade curve will be changed. At least they'll open up the possibility of me giving more A's and B's than usual, because for the last 6 years or so, it has been the university policy to only give 30% of the students in each class an A, which was, I think it was essentially a good idea, because it prevented professors from being too generous for various reasons, and that would cause grade inflation, and A's would be worth less. But in this situation, we have a special situation this semester, so I do expect something to be adjusted. In some way, they're going to accommodate us, but they haven't decided yet, so I can't tell you about that yet. Generally, we've been doing quite well so far. I have hundreds of emails of assignments. 90% of you follow the instructions. I'm not going to repeat what I said in the first April update. This is the mid-April Saturday night update version, and the other version was just written, so you can refer to that too. But remember, student number, class name, subject line, everything, label everything. Don't say assignment number 6. Please put a title, right? The topic is electronic devices, or the topic is it's written on your face. I don't care. Just put that on the file name. Don't send me assignment number 6 from who knows what class. You would understand if you got 100 emails a day how I feel, okay? So you have to do that. Otherwise, I can't keep up. It's impossible. It's mentally and physically impossible for me to do that. I don't have enough time. It would just take me forever to catch up. And I'm still trying to catch up. That's why I'm doing this update, partially to tell you the midterm is not going to happen. And I'm sure some of you are smiling or fist pumping or whatever, that you're happy that we don't have a midterm. Be happy. You should be. Midterms suck. I know that. I give them those because I want to make sure you're paying attention, but I don't think we can deliver them properly under the current circumstances. We have to wait. We are doing very well as a country, and the danger has diminished, but to open up everything now would risk going back to what it was like in February, and we all remember that, okay? So you can enjoy going outside and you can take your mask off sometimes. That's fine, but having 64 people sit in a room closely packed together is not a good idea, so we're not going to do it. The department, the Asia Business Department and the English Department fully support all of us not risking that. So that's not going to happen. However, we do need to prepare somehow. First of all, I already said, especially in conversation. Composition is not so bad. I don't know if you want to talk to me in person about writing. It's not that critical. But conversation class requires interaction and me talking to you back and forth. I'm good. We're going to set something up. I think the global business communication class will be the pilot. There's only 8 students in their upper year, so I'm going to try and use that class as a sort of guinea pig. And what's probably going to happen is, not next week, but the following week, I'm going to do sort of a conference call with them. And then if that works well, I'm going to try it with a bigger class. I'm sorry, British and American culture class, it's not possible to put 64 students in one chat room. We're going to have to figure out something, though. I do want to know who you are, and I do want to at least, even if you're just typing and I'm talking, and I can see you, a picture of you in a tiny little corner, all of you in tiny little boxes. I'm going to share with you, alongside this video, I'm going to share it with you, Tom Hanks doing his hosting of At Home SNL. If you don't know what SNL is, it's a Saturday Night Live comedy program. It's been around for like 50 years. Recently, Korea imported the idea, and they started doing Korean version of SNL. It's pretty funny. The Korean version's funny too, but the American version is really an institution. It's something that millions of people watch. It's sometimes, if it's a really famous or popular host like Tom Hanks, you might end up with, half the population of Korea, like 30 million Americans watching this program. So Tom Hanks, if you don't know, he got the coronavirus in Australia going back to the beginning of March, I guess. And he has recovered, thankfully, because he is America's dad. And don't want America's dad to pass away. So he recovered, and now he's quarantined himself. I mean, he's not quarantined anymore. He's in self-isolation. And I'm going to share the video with you because it's great. He makes some pretty risque jokes, but he is attempting to tell people, one, how serious it still is. Don't forget that, because America's in an awful situation now that we can't imagine. It's much worse than we ever experienced here. And two, that we do have to find ways to function and to laugh and to enjoy our lives and to study, right? I'm trying to be my best to be entertaining. I think I probably would be more entertaining in the classroom, but as I've been doing these videos, now I'm over 30 of these video lectures. I think it's getting better. Lots of people have given me feedback. My friends, my family, and all the students have watched these videos and told me things that I can do better. So all of these things are going to continue for the rest of the semester. So let's not pretend anymore that we're going to be in a normal classroom this spring, because we're not. We will probably be together in some form to do the exam, especially if they require us to follow the relative evaluation where there's a curve. There's no way that I can see that you can trick me. You can try to trick me about how much you've studied and how well you've absorbed the material up until a point. But if you have to write an exam that tests what you've been doing, it doesn't matter how much you study for the last 2 days before the exam, you're going to do poorly. And I can guarantee you, if you don't keep up, there's too much material, especially in British and American culture, for you to possibly do well on the exam. So I know some people have a lot of time, some people feel like they don't, but you got to keep up on your studying. And freshmen, I'm sorry that this is the way you have to deal with it, because you would be enjoying a lot of different things about your university experience, but you can't right now. But one of the things you have to learn is discipline. And you can't stay up all night. I get tons of assignments arriving at 11:59 p.m. right before the deadline. That's not a good habit. Don't leave yourself 5 minutes in order to hand something in. That's always a bad idea. Okay, now let me just say a few more things. Plagiarism is not allowed. I can clearly see when you've gotten something from somewhere. You need to use English sources, and I'll tell you why. I know some of you are good at translating, but I can't tell how. All I can tell is the result is strange. And I've had probably 10 students, so you're not alone, and I understand what your concern is. You can't plug in, you can't use Google Translator to change something. You're studying British and American culture, and you want to write something about the Black Death, or about Queen Elizabeth, or about the Peasant Revolt, and you look it up in Naver, and then you translate that into English. It spits out this ridiculously, it's not even bad English, it's just weird. It's not the way you write. I can see that. It's just obviously machine translated, okay? And it's good that I can tell that still, and that AI hasn't progressed, because I probably wouldn't be able to tell, but I can. So you can't do that. So so that I can prove that you are doing your own research and you're writing your own stuff, you have to tell me where you got it from. And just saying it's from Wikipedia and then it's almost exactly the same as Wikipedia is not that's not good enough. You have to find other things. Now, Wikipedia is a good starting point because it gives you a broad overview, but Wikipedia references other things. So you're going to have to do better than just say, I got all my information from Wikipedia, this is what I thought. That's not good enough unless you read Wikipedia and you shut it down and you remember as much as you can and you type. And then it's not similar to Wikipedia at all. And you tell me that's where you got your information from, that'll probably work, okay? But let me tell you, I'm going to give you a graded assignment. It doesn't matter what class it is. Conversation is really it's not easy to cheat, and I give you open-ended topics where you have to put your own style and your own personality into it. But don't translate things don't write it in Korean and then switch it over, because it's obvious that's what's happened. You make all the same errors consistently that are not the normal errors that humans make. You're going to make all the errors that the translation program makes, and those are not the same as you. So this is a last warning. I'm not going to waste my time, and I'm not going to look to prove it. I'm just going to tell you flat out, I can tell this is not your own writing. I'm sorry, but you don't get credit for this, okay? So don't do it, because that's the way it's going to be. I don't have time to play Sherlock Holmes and find exactly where you got it from, but it's clear. Everybody who writes has a unique fingerprint, and you can tell how they're going to write. So sooner or later, you're going to be caught, and when you get caught, I'm going to give you a 0, and you're going to fail the course. That's the consequences, because people are doing their work, and they need to get credit for it doing it properly, and you should be punished for trying to cheat. Okay? So you're not going to get an A doing that kind of behavior. So that's the end of that, and that's the last warning. Because I've so far just given you full credit for all the assignments, but I do want to give you graded assignments where I actually give you an A or a B or a C. And I'm not going to distinguish between the A plus and the A0. We're not going to mess around with that. It's just going to be a straight A B, a C, a D, or an F. That's it. Okay? So now you've been warned. When I ask you to do a graded assignment, that's what it means. Don't plagiarize. Don't use machine translation. And give me the English sources, or it's not going to be accepted and you're going to get an F. That's it. Okay? I hate to be that strict, but that's the only way we can do it properly. I want to be fair. So I hope you understand that. What else do we need to say? In terms of the subscription thing, I did discover something. I know most of you, almost all of the students have subscribed. I can tell that. But actually, it turns out that if you have your privacy settings restricted, so that I can't see who you've subscribed to, I can see the numbers, but I can't really see you individually. So even if you tell me your username, but your privacy settings are closed, so I don't know what you subscribe to, I can't actually see you individually. So that doesn't help. But I don't want to invade your privacy. If you're subscribing to channels for whatever reason you don't want people to know, that's fine. So we're going to have to figure something out, though, in order for me to verify everybody, because I got everybody's usernames. But if you decided not to allow other people to see who you subscribe to, I also can't see that you've subscribed to me, which defeats the whole purpose of the request. So we have to find a workaround somehow. Maybe you can turn the privacy settings off for a couple days so I can get everybody, check everybody. Maybe that'll work. I also didn't show the things I subscribe to, but once I realized that, you can see now. If you want to see the music I listen to or my playlist, I didn't want to show that to you, but once I realized that I would have to ask you to share that information, it's not fair for me to hide my own subscriptions to you. So I changed the settings so that you can see what you want. Whatever I look at, you can see. Okay? So if you're not comfortable with that, that's fine. Don't change the settings. If you don't care, then go ahead and let me see it so I can tell that you're watching the video lectures. And if you have a problem with it, then I'll give some sort of option. We'll figure out something for those of you, because it's your right to reveal it or not. I understand that. But we'll have to work something out. Other than that, basically, since we have no midterm, remember, we're going to have to, other things are going to be worth more because the midterm evaporated, right? It's gone. So that 20%, for example, most of you, for most classes, it was around 20%. So that 20% is gone. That's going to be picked up by other things. So the exam's going to be worth, instead of 30%, the exam's going to be worth 40%. And instead of your presentation being worth 20%, it's going to be 25%. And your participation, instead of 20%, it's going to be worth 25%. So that's how the evaluation is going to work. It's going to be adjusted because of the lack of a midterm for other classes. Composition 1, again, you guys are my favorite class this semester because you're writing class, and shy people thrive in the composition class because the participation originally was 10%. So you just have to do your assignments and learn how to write, and don't cheat because your composition people don't copy things. Remember that, and you'll be fine. And we don't really need to chat that much because essentially I'm just telling you what to do, and then you have to do the exercise and improve your writing, and that's what that class is about. Everybody else, though, we're supposed to socialize more. So let's try and figure something out in terms of how we can recover from the lack of midterms and quizzes and interviews and so on. Okay? And that's it. This took longer to say than I expected, but I want to be clear and make sure that everybody's on the same page. So that is your Saturday night recorded, not live, mid-April update. And I will link Tom Hanks's at-home monologue from SNL, and I hope you enjoy it. It's good for a laugh. And he's a professional athlete. He's a professional athlete. He's a professional actor. So he does a fantastic job of his delivery. So you can just compare to his. I aspire to be able to talk like him. He is using cue cards though, and I'm not. There's nothing behind here. There's nothing in front. That was all spontaneous. So I wonder if he could do that. He probably can. Okay, that's it. Be safe, take care, and soldier on. Next week is week 7, I believe, so I'll see all of you on the channel as usual. Have a good night. Take care.